Good afternoon. Welcome to the PPRTA Board of Directors meeting for October. We do have a quorum. Item number 2 would be approval of the agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, public comment period for items not on the agenda. We have an item A, recognizing Carla Hurd Price, who has been on the PPRTA Citizens Advisory Committee for some time, and now my mic's on. So we have approved the agenda, we have a quorum, and we are now on 3A. Steve, you're here to accept this, so if you'd like to come on up, we extend you our condolences, but we're really here to celebrate and give our appreciation for Carla. So let me read this, and then we have some folks that would like to speak. The Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority wishes to acknowledge its deepest gratitude to Carla Hurd Price for her invaluable contribution to the PPRTA Citizens Advisory Committee, March 2015 through September of 2016. So who would like to speak? I know we have some folks that worked with her. I think there will be multiple. We're going to start with Joan Lucia Therese.
Thank you so much.
That's loose if you would like to pull it up. There you go.
Make sure it's on.
Sure. But I'm just grateful for the board to acknowledge Carla's participation. I learned quite a bit from her. We would sit next to each other in meetings, and when there were some things that I wasn't sure about, I'd elbow her and she'd fill me in. So I deeply miss her, but what I loved most of all was her warm and generous personality. There was always a laugh. We always were chuckling through meetings over something. And this is just a beautiful honor to give to the family. Thank you.
Please. We have the CAC board chair acting like he's still in a meeting and directing traffic.
Well, I sat on the other side of Carla down there, and it's amazing the amount of connection our families had that I didn't know anything about. My daughter did her interior decorating. My other daughter maintained her animals as a vet tech, and I went over to her house a dozen times while they were building it because it's about 3 or 4 blocks away from where I live, but I never met this guy. Carla was a very positive, motivating force. She was always positive, and as Joan said, between the conversation going on in that corner, I'm sorry, we probably interrupted, but there was always a very positive note to it. We miss her. Lord, we miss her. Thank you.
Reb, welcome.
Members of the board, and literally anybody else. Carla brought something, she's fairly new to the CAC, but she brought something that was, quote, unique and very refreshing. Number one, joie de vivre, as they have tried to say to me, that's joy of life. Very positive, smiling personality, but she was also very much engaged. She admitted, quote, her ignorance of certain points. She was enlightened and was thankful to many of the more experienced members of the CAC. And for that, I thank her personally at a timely time maybe, but it was really pleasant to see somebody that really got involved as she was. And I know her from some other situations that are more political, and she threw her heart into everything that she did. She really did. So, thank you very much.
Thanks, Reb.
If I get a little emotional, many times, how many times you do
it's never easy. But I would like to echo all the comments that other folks. Carla was refreshing. When she came to the board, she had a smile. She was always positive, had a great sense of humor. And despite what some of the people that regularly present at the CAC, we do have a chuckle once in a while. And she was always refreshing, always had great inputs, always asked really good questions. And so we miss her. And we just wish you the best and the family, and thank her for her participation. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience? With that, I'll bring it back up to the board. Anyone on the board? Commissioner Littleton.
Well, I just want to thank you, Steve, for allowing her to be on the CAC. I am really actually surprised that she accepted the position when I begged her to go to it. I said, look, we just need somebody from this commissioner district. We need somebody that's from this area. She goes, well, I know nothing about roads and streets and bridges. I said, no, you're married to Steve. Just go ask Steve about all the roads, streets, and bridges. You'll be able to do it. And just to have her be able to come and serve with our illustrious board members on the CAC, I know that she brought a lot of joy to your lives, as she did to all of us.
Thank you.
Well, what I know about Carla, and of course, like Reb, I knew her more on the political side. I'm not sure Steve did much allowing. I think Carla.
On this one, she was pretty out of it. She goes, I don't know if he'll let me volunteer.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Other comments? Well, Steve, thank you very much. We do have the certificate. And for your role in allowing one more board,
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate it
Thanks very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
You know, this isn't an easy time, but life goes on.
Life goes on.
Life goes on.
I just want to, let me just take a second and say thank you to Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the members of the board. Carla, she loved this community. And so she loved to give her time to these kinds of things, and I always was supportive. She supported me in a number of other board positions that I'd been in for many years, and I was happy to see her blossom in these kinds of things. So thank you. She always had really great things to say about all of you, and she was a happy and joyous person, and we keep that close to us. So thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. I'll share this with Lauren. Thank you.
Moving on to item 3B, any other public comment from the audience for anyone, for any item that is not on today's agenda? Seeing none? Item 4 would be approval of the minutes from the September 14, 2016 regular meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, Citizens Advisory Committee Monthly Report. Reb, welcome.
Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Chair. There were no public comments during our public comment period, but I did ask for a moment of silence for Carla, who passed 3 days after our monthly meeting. There was information only, the monthly financial reports. There were no comments to forward to the board. City of Colorado Springs contracts, it took us a while. They presented 9 plus 1 walk-on items, and there were discussion of how to split it to vote a certain way. Items 1 and 10 on your list were voted for unanimously, approving a recommendation of approval to the board. Items 2 through 8 were voted on and had passed by a 7-3-1 vote, 1 abstention, and with a positive recommendation. And the last item, which was item 9 on yours, was for a request or to recommend approval for them to seek bids or quotations on 3 vans that they deemed special use. It was a lengthy discussion, and it involved a review of board policy number 24, items or sentence 1 and 3 in those 2 particular items. It came down to a vote finally, after much discussion, and the vote was 6-5 with a recommendation of approval. Keep in mind that this is only for, all they were seeking was a positive recommendation to go forward to seek the bids, so they wouldn't waste quote time if it wasn't going to pass CAG. I can give you details if you want of some of the discussions, but I think basically it's a 6-5 vote, and I'm quite interested because Mr. Godfrey, I hope, had a good time last week, but wasn't there in attendance, and I want to see how he would vote now when he's going to hear
The whole discussion again?
Yeah, the whole discussion, he wasn't aware of it based on what was presented. It was a lengthy discussion, okay? El Paso County had contracts and for 2 contracts and had a positive recommendation moving forward. City of Manitou Springs, none of us had recognized the young lady, had a contract for approval, and it was a unanimous decision to approve it on both county and City of Manitou Springs. We had City of Colorado Springs Transit Services monthly update, and you will get it later, but there was mention, I don't know, Craig's here today, so you might get it for the 4th or 5th time that I've heard it, but all the plans for the downtown station and the upcoming public meetings. Because City of Colorado Springs had a major change order. I'm just going by memory, but it was huge. It was almost $4,450. So
Wow.
check them out. No, it had a unanimous recommendation also. We got a report from the recent board actions and whatnot, and that was information only. No comments to forward. Rick came forth, and you have an item on your agenda, I would assume is going to be similar, that we have coming up board vacancies, whatnot. There are various rules for various entities that will be discussed. That was for information only. And basically that's it, because Rick gave us an information only for status, field status report. There were no agenda topics for the next meeting, and there were no communications. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Williams? Thank you, sir. Item 6, moving into financial reports. A is our monthly financial report. Welcome, Beverly.
Good afternoon. As you can see, the August sales and use tax figure is $9,174,000, and it's up $1.4 million, which it looks pretty obvious here that a bunch of taxpayers reported their July sales and use tax in August. Because if we go all the way over to the right-hand column, the 2015 actuals, we didn't even have as high of a sales and use tax in December of 2015. So I'm going to do a little data research on that and figure out how much of that probably was from last month.
But even doing the balancing, it looks like it's probably our high water mark.
Right, absolutely. So very good news. And compared to, on the second page, compared to last year, we're ahead $3,820,000. So just really doing well this year. And the next couple of pages are just the expense report, putting the sales and use tax in the income statement and the expenses that have been received by the PPRTA so far this year. And we always run quite a bit behind, because it's like we're really kind of on a cash flow basis, because we don't know what's out there until we get the expenditures from the member governments. So, questions?
Questions? Thanks for orchestrating the rebound.
Oh, thanks.
Brings us to 6B, our budget, draft budget and setting a hearing date.
So today I put the draft budget in front of you, and it's the preliminary budget. There may be changes to it by December, but I'm asking the board to set the public hearing date for December 14th at your regular board meeting. So then next month we'll have the both the CAC and the board workshops on the budget.
Yes, council member.
I move that the 2017 budget public hearing date be set for December 14th, 2016.
Second?
Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner.
So if that's a hearing date, does it mean it would be up for approval in January then?
No, in December.
So it's actually a hearing and an approval?
Yes, next month we'll have the workshop. So today you received the budget. It has to be received by the board by October 15th. Then next month we'll go over the budget to the extent you want to, either page by page, and the member government's staff get up and talk about it. And then it would be, you would give me direction as to how you want to see either the budget changed or if you don't want to see it changed, and then the public hearing and approval of the budget in December.
Sounds good.
Because it has to be approved by December 31st.
That's what I thought, we just do it differently, we call it hearings and then, consideration for approval, so it's fine. But those will be one and the same in December.
Mhm.
Thank you for clarification.
I heard they're not one and the same in the November meeting.
Well, they'll do the hearing,
Mm.
but they'll both happen on the same day.
No,
In December.
December.
We have the hearing in November,
No, workshop in
A
November.
workshop.
workshop in November.
And the hearing in December.
December 14th, we have the hearing and the vote.
Back,
Yeah.
back to what you said, the different terminology.
Right.
Gotcha.
And if I need to change the budget between November and December, I go over the changes before you open the public hearing to approve the budget.
Okay. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brings us to 7A, capital maintenance and public transportation contracts, beginning with the City of Colorado Springs.
Good afternoon, Mike Chavez, City Engineering. We got several items for your consideration today. The first one is a change order to AECom for some utility work on the Centennial Extension project, and that is actually work that will be reimbursed by CSU to us when we settle up the account on that project. We have 8 contracts that operations maintenance is seeking approval. The traditionally, maintenance contracts on the RTA were approved by the board, and then streets would just issue change orders against that contract, and they would run, up to $2 million by the end of the year. The city is changing the way it's doing its on-call contracts for consulting and construction, and the way we structured it is unless it's a really large project, we'll RFP it, but we have on-call contracts with, on the city side, a $500,000 task order limit up to $3 million, and we've come back to the board on consultants, and on these contracts, they're also asking for a $200,000 task order limit. And what Streets is basically trying to do is they want to use the 2C contract, or the pricing, for RTA work and RTA funded work, and it just makes it simpler for us to use that contract. But the task orders will come through Rick, and he'll see them as they come through. Then item 9, I'll let Kathleen talk. Item 10, basically there are purchase of the signal traffic controllers for 200 signals. This is the computer controllers that are used on the ITS corridors. That's the Intelligent Transportation System. and Kathleen will answer more questions, but basically it's a more complex system, signal system that uses radar, so it needs a better computer to run it. So that's an approval to purchase those. I'm not sure if there's any questions on everything but 9, I guess.
Do we want to, considering we have different presenter, shall we have two motions? Do we have a motion on items 1 through 8 and 10?
I move approval.
Second?
I'm sorry, excuse me. Is some of this, where am I missing? So you're talking about the computer, this is not the vans that have?
No, that's a separate discussion that Dennis is pulling out.
We're not voting on the bans in this motion. Did I get a second? Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Kathleen, no pressure, but you saw how that was done.
Yeah,
Do you
Just
need-
follow Mike's lead.
okay.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Kathleen Krager, City Traffic Engineer, Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs has currently 586 signals in the city, and we will still be adding a few more this year. So it's an always growing situation. We have 5 signal techs that are really electronic specialists that go out and they perform preventative maintenance on all the signals. They touch every city signal at least once a year. And then besides the preventative maintenance, they also go out for any emergency, and that's 24/7 that they respond to emergencies. Or they go out if there's a citizen call-in that maybe snow has blocked a signal head or any of those things that commonly happen to our signals. The city has a very good record of keeping signals operational, and our downtime for signals is really quite minimal compared to most cities of our size. So we're very pleased with the preventative maintenance and upkeep that these 5 traffic techs do. By the way, the recommendation on a national traffic engineers level is that we should have about 12 traffic techs maintaining our signals. And we managed to do it with 5, and they're all good guys, and I appreciate it. All 5 of them drive a van that is full of their equipment, any wiring. It has a complete controller in the back that they can plug into, and they're able to do all of the work that they need to do inside the van and then take it outside in bad weather, update the signal that they need to do, that type of thing. The vans that we find over the years that are most useful are vans that are size so you can stand up in it, so that I don't have to hire extremely short signal techs. That has, widened the area of signal techs I can hire. And they work out well for the signal techs, and we currently have 5 signal vans. As of last week when I presented this to the CAC, I had 2 signal vans that were permanently down, one after throwing a rod, and the other one after dropping its transmission. Both of those were over 150,000 miles on them. They had gotten fairly old. As of this week, I have 3 signal vans down. When one of my signal techs put his van in reverse, backed out a parking space, put on the brakes, and kept backing out because there were no longer any brakes in the van. So I'm now down to 2 signal vans, which means that I have people repairing signals. One of them is driving a Ford Explorer, and he's doing fairly well. Another one's driving a Ford Ranger, which is the really small pickup trucks. He's not doing so well. And the third guy is driving a 1990s sedan. And he's really looking silly with equipment sticking out of the windows of the sedan. So it's time to bring our signal vans up to use again. These are specialized equipment. They come in with sort of a minimal equipment in the back, and then we fill the back with wire racks and specialized equipment that hold all of the computer work that we use on the signals and they have places for wiring and places to hold extra equipment and the tools. So they can go out for the day, repair signals all day long, and not have to come back into the yard to pick anything up. The signal vans are really not of use for anyone other than the signal technician. It's not that they're used by streets or anything else, because they're full of only signal equipment. They also are the vans that are used at night and on weekends for our 24/7 service. So I'm asking for permission to pull contracts to purchase those 3 vans so that I can keep signal techs out there without the embarrassment of having signal equipment sticking out the passenger window of a sedan.
What's the dollar value on that? I know it's here.
It is. Our just rough estimate is about $37,000 per van. It's likely that once we get into contract negotiations, we'll be able to bring that down some.
Thank you. Commissioner Littleton.
So when we look at this, I guess my microphone wasn't on. Can you explain to me why this would be a PPRTA purchase for 3 vans as opposed to something that the City of Colorado Springs should fund independently?
Certainly. It is part of PPRTA and has been since it started in 2005 to maintain our signal system. In fact, you'll notice it is in both the maintenance money of PPRTA and also in capital money that we provide some upgrades to signals. But maintenance of signals has always been included in PPRTA since 2005, and the maintenance money, therefore, is split between Traffic Engineering Division and the Streets Division. This money, the signal vans, are needed as much to go out and maintain these signals as you would need new wiring, a new controller, a new light bulb for the signal heads.
So do these vans do all of El Paso County signals, all of Manitou signals? All of the people who participate in PPRTA? Does it do the signals for?
They have. Let us know when you get it. No, kidding. Like all of our specialized equipment, it's available, for the price of labor that goes with the van. We have not had that request yet. The county has its own person that works on your signals. Most of your signals are not on a coordinated system, so they're far easier to work on.
So we buy our own vans and we do our own things with the county?
You can ask Jennifer how they handle it.
All right.
They have a pretty, I think, Jennifer, I'm forgetting now how many signals you have in the county.
We have about 55 actual full-fledged signals. We have about 30 more, flashing signals at schools and that. We have vehicles for our own. Those are funded through county road and bridge funds. Not that they're the best vehicles, because we do have fleet considerations, but we've not used PPRTA money to fund vehicles.
So as you can see, we have a much larger amount to fund, and it's a very crucial part of the street system when you have an urbanized area of keeping your signals running. I was going to say in the city of Manitou currently, or in the past, has not owned any signals. All the signals in Manitou were owned by CDOT, but Manitou is just in the process of inheriting some signals along Manitou Avenue as it devolves from a state highway to a city street. So, yeah, someone's going to end up with those signals. But if needed, the City of Colorado Springs can maintain them, just as for a price we maintain signals for CDOT as well.
And I think it is fair to say, I talked with Tyler, that we do maintain Green Mountain Falls signals.
I thought we did.
That'd be fair to say as well.
Yeah.
So, Kathleen, that was an interesting tidbit that RTA has taken over maintenance of the signals, and rightfully so, no argument there, but really has nothing to do with the subject at hand, which is policy number 24 about specialty vehicles.
Yes.
Could you address why a high-capacity box van that every painter in town has and most plumbers is a specialty vehicle?
Certainly. The difference between the box van that the painter is going to drive around and the box van that the signal techs drive around, probably the biggest difference can be found in a computer in a wire rack that sits behind the driver that holds all of the computer equipment that allows someone to go out, repair a signal, hook it into the citywide computer system, and make sure that it can function properly. In other words, all of our signals are connected, and this gives them the ability to work on those signals and assure that the connection is still made. Besides the complete computer that goes with these vans, we also carry all of the general equipment that might be needed to repair the signal. New wiring, new span wiring, all those things go into the van as well as the equipment itself to do it.
So if we were to approve this, how long before you're in here explaining to us that the inspectors in their little Ford Rangers, which they no longer make, have a computer that is bolted in and it ties in, and so therefore now that's a specialty vehicle because you're going to install a computer in those just like you're going to install a computer in the
Yep.
box van?
And you will notice if you go back to the minutes on when we had this discussion before, I specifically said that the city would not be coming back for inspectors' pickup trucks. And here's why. That inspector's pickup truck can be traded among any division and department in the city. I know because I drive one sometimes. They do not have bolted down computers. All of our inspectors carry a laptop type of computer. They might have a rack in the back for holding a plan, big deal. These vans are not usable for anyone else in the city other than a signal maintenance. If someone else were to use it, it would do them no good other than the fact that they were driving something. And we have Ford Focuses if you just need to drive something. So these are specifically used by and only by our signal maintenance team.
So just, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Right.
Commissioner.
So just adding an additional question to what Commissioner Heisey was asking about earlier. It sounds like the van in and of itself isn't necessarily the special use. It's what's in the van. It's the computer. It's the maintenance. For me, I'm not opposed to paying for the maintenance of parts, the computer or something that goes in the van. However, I'm not sure that I'm inclined to say that PPRTA should purchase the vehicles that are going to be utilized specifically for the City of Colorado Springs. But I certainly, according to Policy 24, maintenance, parts, maintenance, labor, fuel, for non-specialized trucks, it's not really a special vehicle. It's a truck that plumbers drive around and heating companies driving around, but has special equipment internally. So is there a cost breakdown on how much it would cost for the computers or other things to service that particular vehicle if the vehicle purchase were separate from the other parts?
Well, if I'm correct, you're not asking for the money to outfit this. You'll
We,
transfer equipment, you'll do
That's
whatever
exactly
it takes
right.
to,
yeah,
okay.
we can be a cheap group in that way. So we'll transfer the equipment that's currently in our non-functioning signal vans to put in new signal vans. We make our wire racks quite often to put computers on, that type of thing.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yeah, I just, if you really look at vehicles, if you get down to the frame, they're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that there are some specialized vehicles that can be made in a manufactured position, and it looks clearly like it's a specialized vehicle. This is a situation where we are putting the equipment into this van that makes it a specialized van.
Yes.
And we can't buy a van with this specialized equipment in it, I'm assuming.
We probably could, but they would become very, very expensive
So we're saving money
vans.
by doing it.
Yes.
By doing the work ourselves.
Yes.
So, to me, this does fit with number 2 on the policy and number 4 on the policy. So this is something that I would approve, and I would approve it for the county and maybe someday Manitou. And I don't know if Ram is going to get one or not, but
This does fall out of our maintenance money, not out of capital money. We're not taking this away from a project. This is money that we use to make sure those signals are functioning. And the city's portion of making sure that those signals are functioning is to pay the people that do that technical work. And they're pretty well-paid people because they are very specialized.
Mayor Carpenter?
It's going to be taken home by these techs every night if they're on 24/7?
No, the city requirement is that the trucks are locked in a secured parking lot at the TMC, but they do take a pager home, and when they get paged, we have one technician at all times who's on call. When he gets paged, he will drive into the city lot, pick up the van, and go out to the intersection.
Are these going to be RTA vehicles, and who's going to insure them?
We will put an RTA plaque for them, and I need help here. I think that the city is responsible for insuring them. Yeah.
The RTA actually owns no vehicles.
Yeah.
We didn't. Let me go to Mayor Nicoletta here.
Sure. So I actually am with Commissioner Littleton on this one in terms of it would be a no-brainer to me to fund the parts, even, the fuel 2 and what Mr. Bennett said, 2 and 4, I see as the guts of the vehicle, not the shell of the vehicle. So in this moment, I'm not in favor of funding this.
Other comments?
make a motion.
Yes, Councilmember Bennett.
Yeah, I move that approval of the traffic signal maintenance van purchase.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience wish to speak on this item? With that, we will call the roll. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion fails. Moving on to...
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Jim Godfrey, Chair of the CAC. Just the vote previous to that on the contracts, just for the record, accept your decision to do that. As Chair of the Citizens Committee, one of the things that the committee is concerned about in the process that the city is shifting to of awarding contracts and then awarding large change orders against that contract is the visibility that we have over any of that until the work is already done. And I understand the efficiency of the contracting process, and we certainly respect the oversight that's provided by Rick and the staff. But we could potentially have $500,000 up to $3 million worth of work done that the CAC has no visibility over until after it's done, started, or in process. And so I just, for the record, wanted to make that point.
Thank you. Rob?
Mr. Chairman, for the last vote, we were struggling with the vote. Was it 2-3-1 or 3-3? We missed a hand.
We missed your vote.
Actually, I did not vote.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
2-3-1?
It was 3-2. Sure, 3-2-1.
Sure. Got it. Okay, thank you.
Sir. And by the way, had my vote swayed it one way or the other, I would not have abstained. I didn't mean to abstain on that one, but the item has been closed. It failed no matter how I voted, so I just called it that way using chair's prerogative. But because I don't abstain on votes unless I'm required to by the attorney. 7B, El Paso County Public Transportation Contracts.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Board of Directors, Jennifer Irvin, County Engineer. We have two capital items for your consideration today. The first one is for Monument Hill Road, and this is for $425,000, and this is the next phase of the project. This is for final design of that project. And then the second item is Colorado Avenue. It's the Construction Management Contract Award with CH2M, and that cost is $1.985 million. We have the Colorado Avenue construction contract under advertisement, and are hoping to bring that forward to you next month. If you have any questions about those projects, I'd be happy to answer.
Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for your consideration, and I'd just like to thank all the member governments on the Colorado Avenue project. We've been using a lot of staff time between city staff and Manitou staff and Colorado Springs Utilities, and hopefully getting that project underway. So, thank you.
Thank you. 7C, City of Manitou Springs.
Chairman Heisey, board members, thank you. My name is Shelley Kobaugh. I'm the new Public Services Director for the City of Manitou Springs, and I'm requesting your signature on a maintenance contract for a mill overlay and chip sealing project to Schmidt Construction in the amount of $249,570 that would come out of City of Manitou Springs RTA maintenance funds.
Discussion? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 7C, the motion for PPRTA.
That pretty well covered it,
That's
actually.
it. That's it, you're good.
Staff can pick it up from there.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Real quick, I have
Yes.
to say that Manitou Springs is so incredibly fired up to have Shelley, the Public Services Director. It's incredible, and it's just going to keep getting better. So for those of you who have worked with her, I would imagine you concur.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Item 8A, City of Colorado Springs Transit Services Monthly Update. Welcome, Craig Blewett.
Yeah, good afternoon. Craig Blewett, Transit Services Manager with the City of Colorado Springs. You do have a report in your agenda. Just quickly touch on a few of those points. In terms of our ridership, with our local fixed route system, had about an 8% increase over last year, but that's in part due to 2 more weekdays in this year compared to August of the previous year, and we have more riders on weekdays than on weekends. ADA service, about a 1% increase shown there. And again, you can see the difference on weekdays and weekend days. Van pools were still down compared to last year, but we had a pretty significant increase from July to August, so that's looking more favorable. We're trying to add more vans back. We did lose some vans, and we're not the vans themselves, but the people in the vans, and we're trying to fill some vans back up. So heading in the right direction there. I did want to talk about a couple things in the projects. Our downtown station relocation study is nearly complete. We have some meetings with our stakeholders group and our technical group tomorrow, and then we're having a public open house a week from today. So that'll be on that Wednesday night, the 19th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the City Administration Building main floor, so the corner of Colorado and Nevada. And we're also scheduled to go to City Council on November 7th with our recommendation with the group. So looking forward to getting that input from our technical group, stakeholders, and public. And following that input, we'll be finalizing our recommendations. So it is something that's moving along quite well. The last item, I'm proud to say that Mountain Metropolitan Transit won an award. We won the state award, CASTA, Colorado Association of Transit Agencies, award for Transit Agency of the Year, which is awesome. And that's reflective of the work of not just me, but everyone back at the office who's actually doing the work right now, and what they've done for the past year. And if I may just indulge, Mr. Chair, just for a moment, for 2016, we increased our bus service frequency to 15 minutes on a major north-south corridor connecting downtown to UCCS and 2 urban renewal areas along Nevada Avenue. We added 4 routes on evenings and weekends and reconfigured 2 long circuitous, what we call coverage bus routes, into 4 shorter direct functional routes, providing quicker travel times, improved on-time performance. Those 4 reconfigured routes went from on-time performance of 81% to 92%, which is awesome. That's what riders find to be very important. A recent study showed that transit customers' top priorities are frequent service, shorter travel times, and reliable on-time bus service. So we're excited to provide those improvements to the community. In 2016, we added 19% of our revenue service hours. Those are the hours the buses are productive in picking folks up. That's a huge increase, and I just want to say that increase is due to, was enabled by our increased budget, which we're very grateful for. But what's important is what we did with the increased budget in terms of on-time performance and providing service that counts for our customers. And just to remind you, 6 years ago, 2010, we had a bare bones transit system in Colorado Springs area. We ran 255 days a year, Monday through Friday, no weekday evenings, no Saturdays, no Sundays, and darn few holidays. Today, we're at a new level. We operate 362 days a year. And we have increased that revenue service hours since 2010 by 59% to 2016. And we're looking to further growth as well for next year. You'll see our PPRTA budget next month. But Mayor Souther's proposed budget, the city will meet the PPRTA maintenance of effort level with our general fund in the proposed budget. Of course, that goes before council, and it's council's budget. But this will be the first time in my tenure heading up Mountain Metro that will have met that maintenance effort, and I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure my colleagues, fellow colleagues from the other member governments are also looking forward to not having that as an issue as we present our budget to the CAC and to the board. So just thought I'd say that. So at any rate, once again, this is really due to team effort, also our contractor and the employees, the bus drivers who work for the contractor. It's really been a team effort. So.
Thank you. Mayor Bennett. Mayor,
I'm not mayor.
This is true.
You've been elevated.
Councilmember President.
I don't want that job. I do want to say I do not know of any one on council that does not support the maintenance of effort. So I don't see that as an issue. I think it'll be brought back and with full support of council.
Very good.
Larry, are you in agree? Yeah.
I'll probably vote against it just
because.
As long as it passes, Councilman, I'm fine with that.
Commissioner Littleton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the numbers in the future as some of the, riderships, is ridership increasing as we're giving services? Because obviously it's one of those things that, especially and specifically in El Paso County, we never like to spend money without seeing a great return on our investment. So
You bet.
it'd be fun to see numbers.
You bet. And a little bit of caution. Nationally, last year, there was actually a reduction in transit ridership across the country. Fuel costs are not helping with that. Despite that national trend, we increased ridership this past year.
Very good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Brings us to 8B, City of Colorado Springs Monthly Change Order and Property Acquisition Report. Mike, it looks like you're the last one left standing.
Mike Chow, City Engineering, and I am actually going to add that I don't think anybody will be happier than I when we meet this maintenance of effort. I've been here the whole time. We just had one item on the Centennial reconstruction. We did the lining of that CMP, and it's just a little bit of a quantity adjustment to close out that contract for that work that was done.
So, unrelated, but since you said the word Centennial, do we anticipate enough warm days yet this fall to put asphalt down where we're looking at road base?
Yes, we are working on that. They should be getting that down probably in November, but we'll get it in and covered.
Okay. November is typically beyond what we call the paving season.
Well, we're pushing it, but that it's come along. We had some utility things we're working through, but we'll get it.
I know some of those board members, if you have any issues. Do we have a motion on this?
No, this is from Ryan.
Yes. You miss a meeting, you have to be retrained, you know? Thank you, Mike. 9A, under Administrative Actions and Reports, Legal Services Contract with Eisenagel, Sieber, and Pogue.
Good afternoon, Rick Sonnenberg, Pikes Peak RTA Program and Contracts Manager. Eisenagel, Sieber, Pogue, and its predecessor firm have been providing legal services to the PPRTA since its inception in January of 2005. And Jennifer Ivey, here in attendance, has submitted a letter requesting for their contract to be renewed for the calendar year 2017, which is allowed in the board-approved contract from October of 2014, which covered calendar 15 and option years of 2016, 17, 18. So she's asking for option year 2017, and the 2016 and 2017 billing rates are attached. So it's up to the board if you want to continue the law firm.
Councilmember Bennett.
Yeah, I think I've been on this board for 3 years. During that time, I feel that the service that we've received has been incredible. Now, if Ed was here, I'd take a cheap shot at him, but he's not here, so I won't be able to.
As I noted, if I had sent Ed, I wouldn't be able to say that your rates are reducing the net rate between the two of us when you see me more and him less. So.
We're glad we see you more. So, no, I think the services of this firm has been outstanding. With that in mind, I move to approve the legal services contract extension with the Eisenagel, Sieber, Pogue law firm for calendar 2017.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to B, appointment, reappointment process for Citizens Advisory Committee.
As you're aware, the CAC members and its bylaws, which were approved by the board, set up the CAC on offsetting or alternating terms. So the folks, CAC folks that you have coming up with terms ending 12/31 of 2016 are Reb Williams, Jonathan Dooley, Jim Godfrey, and Tom Rogers. And then, unfortunately, we have the untimely death of Carla Hurd Price, so that leaves a vacancy in an at-large regular position. Also, according to the bylaws, the member governments make their appointments, so that would be up to the HAC and the county for Reb's term and Town of Green Mountain Falls for Jonathan Dooley. As you're also aware, the board and its subcommittee of the board chair, board vice chair, and the CAC chair and the CAC vice chair, those four individuals are the board subcommittee to review at-large and at-large alternate CAC seats. So I've laid out on the back side of the two-sided memo some alternatives for the three seats that are coming open. You have Mr. Godfrey's at-large seat, Carla Hurd Price's at-large seat, and then Mr. Tom Rogers' at-large alternate seat. So all I'm requesting of the board today is setting a process for how the board would like the subcommittee of four to proceed to fill these three seats.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yeah, we talked about this in our meeting prior to this when we were doing agenda preparation. I think the recommendations that have been brought to us for the process are all excellent. So I would move that we accept this process of all of the above for the at-large seats and all of the above for the alternate seats.
So you're saying to, in that order?
We would,
A to?
yeah, A to F on one,
Okay.
A to D on two. I think all the procedures that they've outlined are excellent.
I can live with that. I was going to say to start with, consider the person who is on file just so that we have some new blood. But I can certainly live with your suggestion. So I'll second that, I guess.
And so that motion does include keeping that name
As an option.
Right.
in the
Yeah.
hat.
Mhm. It's just not the first step,
Right.
right? So,
Well, let me try to
right?
make sure that we're on the same page. We, clarify me if I am
Okay.
incorrect here as the maker of the motion. With your motion, we are not automatically accepting an appointment, I'm at one, from Mr. Godfrey.
Mr.
That would-
Godfrey has not applied yet.
But if he
does,
does, is it still our choice to
Yes.
interview and/or appoint?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Okay, so it's not an automatic.
Thank you.
So today, we're just adopting the process, correct?
Right.
Okay.
It's just a process.
Yeah, I have every intention of submitting Mr. Godfrey to all manner of.
We will, what we can do is after the meeting, we can do an arm twist if we need to.
Okay.
I don't think that's necessary.
The email has been sent.
Okay.
We could still do an arm twist, though.
You're right. Other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. C, staff field review report.
This is simply an information item, the results of my field review of the submittals from member governments with the occasional revisions that I find in the field.
Thank you.
Information only.
Questions for Mr. Sonnenberg on his report? I think somebody someday should drive it just to see if it's correct. But not me.
I've driven most of it.
He does, you don't. Item number 10, executive session, and attorney has requested one.
I have, and I'll make a statement on the record before I entertain a motion that I'll state for the motioner. The ongoing litigation that we've had with Walmart and Sam's Club, on October 5th, 2016, the Denver District Court did enter a judgment agreeing with the PPRTA's position that Walmart and Sam's Club lacked standing to challenge the continued applicability of the sales tax and therefore dismissed their complaint. As a result, we can continue collecting the sales tax on taxable transactions taking place at the Walmart Center.
I think we should be rejoicing.
Yes,
So there's
that's
a
right.
which is the topic of the executive session, but that is, yeah, but let's celebrate for a moment.
Mr. Chairman? Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So with that, that is the public portion of it. I was then going to entertain a motion, so if you had something.
Yep. So I would like to move that we go into an executive session for the purposes stated on the record.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I have 1 second?
Absolutely. We have more than 1 second. We are.
A little both, probably. All right, we've convened into executive session under sections 24-6-4024B and 24-6-4024E. Because I will be giving the board legal advice, we can cease the recording at this time.
Okay. Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are back in open session. Counselor?
And I will state for the record that I gave legal advice during the executive session and that no formal actions were taken during the executive session.
Thank you. Item number 11, consider actions related to ongoing litigation in case number as stated on the agenda. Councilmember Mert Bennett.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move that we direct Peter Forbes, our attorney, to seek an amendment to clarify and correct the undisputed fact number 5.
Second.
Any discussion? You completely agree that is very important. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, PPRTA member announcements.
I think we need something regarding the budget.
A little bit more for 11?
Do we need anything more? I thought we gave direction to staff, and that was all we needed.
We're clear.
Yeah, I mean, I think staff is clear. I mean,
I
there's-
think we need to verbalize it in open session.
Okay?
That's, yeah, I mean, it's relating to the litigation, so.
I would like us to direct the staff to include in the 2017 budget a line item related to litigation. Is that clear?
And potential legislation.
And potential legislation. Okay, thank you.
Well, as a directive, I think that does not require a motion, and it's not on the agenda, so we would be in trouble if we voted on it.
We can add that to the minutes, so. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. And then
You all
actually, I
agree.
guess we could vote on
Do
that
we
at
see
least
head
under
nods?
11.
Okay.
Item 12, PPRTA member announcements. Anything for the good of the, yes, Mayor.
So I have a request, and so I'm just going to do this and see if this is the right way to do it. Thank you, Larry. So I'm very excited to say that Manitou Springs passed all of the warrant tests for a traffic light at Manitou Avenue and El Paso Boulevard. That may not sound exciting to anyone else, but if you live on El Paso Boulevard or the mayor of Manitou Springs, you would be very excited. So what happened at the beginning of this year is the Mountain Metro Route 3 no longer comes all the way into Manitou Springs. They were late, consistently late on their connecting stops because our traffic is so heavy. So what happens is they now turn into, they take a right off of Manitou Avenue onto Old Man's Trail, which is right there by the Moroccan restaurant that we own now. And they stop there, and then because the city bus cannot legally turn back onto a highway without a left onto a highway without a signal, they have to go down El Paso Boulevard. It's a very narrow residential road, and it eliminated a variety of stops on Manitou Avenue heading east for residents. And then it comes back near the pool, Garden of God's Place. So
If it's open.
if it's open. Right now it's not, so you got to go all the way to Becker's Lane. So Dave Watt was kind enough to meet me at Old Man's Trail, and we had the conversation several months ago, and he ran all the tests, and we passed all the tests. It's also right next to our town hall. It's right next to our police department and our firehouse. So my request is it possible to make an amendment to the current budget? I guess, I'm assuming general fund would be the term, or the section, to help us pay for that traffic signal.
I'm looking
Check
for
what's in the
counsel.
current budget.
Okay.
And what's legally allowed.
We'd have to bring that back to see.
I'd like to have RTA staff look at what our options are there.
I'd like to help if we can.
Right, philosophically, I'm not opposed to it if we can help in any way, shape, or form.
That's great.
I'd like to help.
I can tell you, thank you, I appreciate that. I can tell you that our maintenance funds are spent. Yeah, I wouldn't really be requesting if we could shuffle some other stuff around, but it's just not possible for us right now. So that's my request. I appreciate you looking into it. Thanks.
I'm wondering if it could, I mean, since it has to deal with the mountain transit, metropolitan transit, if there's something in there allowing for timely delivery of bus services, something that would.
Be a stretch.
Well, they did help with some of the
Okay.
cost for our summer shuttle
Okay.
because of that.
Okay.
A couple of, I think they helped out with the shoulder season. And they also provided $4,000 for a shuttle stop, which still isn't done, but it will be. So they did sort of make some effort to try to soften the blow. Yeah, so. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other member announcements? Yes, council member.
Just some feedback. We used some PPRTA money for the buffered bike lanes on research. And
Don't blame us.
And we have gotten a plethora of nasty email, excuse me, I'm sorry. We've gotten a plethora of very interesting feedback emails, concerned citizens, and we've gotten some calls. Fortunately, it really, right at the beginning, it was all, don't do it, repaint, give us back the lanes. Now we're beginning to hear from the bicyclists saying, okay, this is really a neat thing to do. So we're going to do the test. Research will be repaved in June, July of 2017. So if it's an unsuccessful test, we can easily undo it. If it's successful, then we can take steps to make it permanent. But I think it was a good test, and I think we'll get some good information out of it. So just to let you know that your PPRTA funds are being used for bike lanes.
And I'd like to add to that, although council's been getting a lot of the emails and the phone calls, it's not a council function under our city governance. This is an administrative function. So if people want to take it up, they need to not call the county commissioners, because it's not your issue. It's not city hall's issue. It's the mayor and the administration that are making this decision. And I've thrown them under the bus with their approval.
What part of research is that?
Oh, my God.
Most of
It's from like Voyager to, not Garden of the Gods, what is it?
Powers? Is it Powers? Austin Bluffs, you're right.
That's generally where it is. It's 6 lanes, 3 lanes either way. We took the outside lane, made it a buffered bike lane, and it's been a speedway.
Yeah, I know, I
The
drive.
speed limit is really being brought down quite a bit, and the drivers are getting used to it, the cyclists are getting used to it, so we'll see how it goes.
I think you should put in those glowing bike lanes now.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Any other member announcements? Seeing none, we are adjourned.
Good job.
Mr. Bennett, did you just speak? You did not throw anybody under the bus.
Murph, you are otherwise distracted, but our legal... That's, yeah. There's that one. What was the other one?